I'm pre- I have been. You know, you sent me this the printout, and my emotion was about vulnerability,
Yes.
and I completely related to that as far as weight gain goes. So
Okay. And what age did I give you?
there was no age on mine.
Okay. So I didn't give you an age. My nose is running already. That means something's happening. I need a tissue. Hang on. uh, okay. All right. I'll give you an age. Hang on a sec. 20, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. It goes to age 6. Tell me about your
Hmm.
life at age 6.
Um, I that was really when my father started physically abusing me.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I've had healers tell me that when I was even younger, that he molested me. I
Right.
I blacked it out, so I have no idea.
Okay, so, okay, do you think that's true that he did?
Yeah,
Right. Why do you think that's true?
because sounds ridiculous. He was a wrestler in school, so he used to wrestle with my sisters and I, and he used to. It was just inappropriate. Like he wasn't actually touching things, but I mean, I knew as a little girl that
Right.
he shouldn't be wrestling with me.
Yeah.
And he would always smack my butt, and he would always kiss
Right.
me on the lips, and
Mm.
I didn't even like that. That was like gross.
Have you, yeah, so have you struggled getting close and intimate with people, when you got older? Did you find that an issue? Or did sometimes you can go promiscuous and then sometimes then you can go the other way. So did any of one of those happen?
No, I don't feel that I was promiscuous, and I was not frigid. I really did enjoy sex with
Right.
um like people that I like men that I was completely involved in a love relationship with. I
Yeah.
would never have sex with anyone that I wasn't in love with
Yeah. Okay.
because it felt dirty.
Right. Right. Okay. Because there's normally, you normally start anyway. So anyway, okay. So I can't. I mean, I don't gonna. Yeah. So, but he physically beat you. So, yeah, and he sounds like he was very inappropriate. But
Yeah.
what went, how far he took it. It's
I
often
had to go
it's
to
the more
court. When I was
for what?
14, I had to go to court for him physically abusing me
Wow. What would
because
he do?
well, he would get into a rage. It was usually when my mother wasn't home, and he would always like get me down on the floor, so he would be really big. And he was a yeller. He was extremely intimidating. I'm sweating.
Yeah, I can feel
He
it all.
he would throw me like one time he threw me through a door. I hit like the door hit me in the side of the face as it was closing, and I couldn't see through my eye, and he didn't care. He would like throw me down the hall, and I would land on my knees, and my knees would get scraped. But sometimes like he would take my arms and he would yank them up if I was like, if I was nervous while he was doing that and I was just like playing with my nails. So just, that was disrespectful to him. Another time, he was mad at my mother. She was at a PTA meeting and his dinner was cold, and he like shoved chicken bones down my throat, and they were getting stuck in my throat. I couldn't breathe. He was just like an animal. He would call me a piece of shit. That he didn't want me to be his daughter. But then the next day, he would forget about everything. And so it was almost like he didn't understand why I was afraid of him. just very, very sad.
Okay. Wow. I'm so sorry. That is like a horror show, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But
You
I have
don't
to
you
say, my husband, back to the sex thing, he's the only man that I really stopped enjoying having sex with because he started reminding me of my father
right.
like a few years into our relationship. And I remember closing my eyes and I would open them and I would see like my father's face for like a second.
Really?
Yeah. And one time I saw my father at the end of the bed. Of course, he's not even dead or anything, and he wasn't at the end of the bed, but I just saw his image and I was like, what the hell is happening? But so
Wow.
that's, yeah,
Wow. That's yeah. So there's a it's yeah, and it's hard to get out of that. It's hard to get that energy out because it's been years and it's been vicious, and you've had a you go into a lot of emotion or pain and suffering and anger and just distraught the whole thing. So that anger then blocks in and locks in your victim, your vulnerability, the whole thing. It just kind of codes you, and to get out of that, like it still chases you. Is it the same? Are you still married to the same guy, or you're not? You got this
still
guy that.
married, but we're on our way out, which
Okay,
is okay.
yeah, that's good. Um, yeah, like so it haunts you everywhere you go.
Well, you know what happened? I started doing energy work years ago,
Yeah, yeah.
and I was attracting clients who had abuse.
Mm,
Now, I had been in therapy a bunch of times
mm.
throughout my life, but it was this one man that it triggered me and I started having panic attacks and that's when I started gaining weight. And um and I
How
also
old were
didn't
you?
want
How old were you?
that was only 10 years ago when I was about 45 years old.
Right. So you were okay before the last 10 years. Is that what you're saying?
I was able to get through it. It was like, when you keep a ball underwater and all the pressure it builds. So that one client that I had, it was like my ball went up in the air and it never came down.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that there's so much in there. I'm so sorry. There's so much in there, Judy. And that precious little girl, it does take, I know the journey, and it's never ending, and it does follow you anywhere, everywhere, but you take off layers, and as you know,
Yeah.
uh, you know, so okay, right. So someone 10 years ago triggered. Who was that?
It was a friend of mine, her husband wanted to, I was doing EFT, tapping,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and he wanted a session and she said to me, I actually never had the session with him. She said, yeah, I know what he's going to want to talk to you about. So I said, what? So she said, well, his father molested his sisters when they were little, and he's like feeling guilt over it. And I had this image of I never met his father, but I had this image of this monster like soul devouring his daughters.
He was
And
what? So you had an image of who?
I, I just like in my mind, as like she was telling me this, I had an image of his father almost like soul devouring his daughters, like raping them because he did rape them, not just molest them. And that triggered me.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So okay. So if that triggered you, then that could be relating to maybe what your dad did.
Right.
Um, um, it's just interesting that you normally see those repercussions a little clearer. But I mean, I'm not, but it's not always that way. But when you say that, I mean, I get a reaction to that. And whether you've buried it deep, because you're easy to access, your energy is easy to access, but the trauma, you've obviously done a lot of work.
I have.
Yeah. So it's not as clear for me to go in, and also I don't like to diagnose or prescribe, but and this is a very quick session, but that's okay. All right. So I'm getting that that loses your soul fragments. Definitely, it shatters you, and it's like pieces of you go, and you like, and what can happen is if you've gone through the abuse, and even if this is a past life abuse that can often continue, it often re-triggers. Um, and that's not unusual for things to seem like they're okay, and then something pops it. So that's not unusual. And then you're never the same until something gets done. And it sounds like you're still not the same, correct? You're not kind of complete yet.
Right. I mean, I'm more there than I was, like every day I'm more there than I was, and
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
but there's just
Okay.
something.
Yeah, I think it's definitely your soul facets are all splintered, and the soul fragments are also missing. So what, yeah, tell me your journey. You're like got your amazing energy. So tell me a little bit about your journey, what you've done to heal yourself.
Well, I started going to therapy when I was 16. My mom thought it would be a good idea for all of us to go after my parents got divorced. And the therapist wanted to see me. She said, "We'll deal with the family later. She really needs to be seen." Uh, and when I was in my early 20s, well, actually, when I was 16 also, I saw the movie Resurrection with Ellen Burstyn. She became a healer after a car accident, and I had an epiphany that that was what I was supposed to do. Um, Another little tidbit was when I was 7, I remember asking God if he could kill me in the middle of the night, like while I was sleeping, because I just felt like I was not going to be able to do this life with my father being as vicious as he was. And when I woke up the next morning alive, obviously, I said to him, I said, "Okay, either you didn't hear me or you want me to be alive, but I'm going to need you to help me so I could help other people." Now, what 7-year-old even says that? So I really do feel like I have been on a journey
Yeah.
to heal, to help heal.
Yeah.
So in my early 20s, I started having panic attacks, and I got my hands on metaphysical books, self-help books, and I just submersed myself in it. And not knowing, like what I was doing was I was trying to fix everything outside of me so that I could feel safe inside,
Yeah.
not knowing that I had to look within me. Even though these books were telling me to do that, that was just way too difficult. Um, so my strategy without knowing was I would just get myself out of the situations that were causing me panic and back into situations of being small and unseen, um, because that was a lot of my trigger. Like, if I was seen, then so much would be expected of me, and what would be expected of me would be overwhelming. And then I would be humiliated because that's really my childhood experience. My father wanted us to be perfect. So he would set the bar here, but like a normal thing would be here. I would be here, and that would even be above normal, but he would make me feel like I was down here. So in my mind, I just never thought I was good enough. So I just always wanted to hide. So,
Is he,
so
so do you speak to him today?
no, no, I stopped speaking to him about, I don't know, 20 years ago, maybe 18
Yeah.
years ago. I told him the only way I would be able to be in a relationship with him is if um, he went to therapy with me, and he said goodbye, which which helped me. He just said
Yeah,
no.
good on you. Look, good on you for doing that. That's pretty brave 20 years ago. That's really great. And what about your mum? Do you speak to her?
I do. Um, she's always been there. She was as afraid of him as we were, so she really didn't take a lot of action. But she started going to Al-Anon, and she divorced him, and so I have a very close relationship with her.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, so anyway, when I got into my 30s, I started investigating healing modalities, but never thinking that I could ever do any of them. I used to go to a Reiki circle with friends, and these Reiki people would say, you really should be doing this. And I say, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. And then I studied Qigong for a little while, and I even got all the,
Right.
material to start doing it. But again, I can't do it. I'll never be able to ever be able to
Right.
heal anyone.
Can I just point out, well, you'll always do that with everything, by the way, but can I just point out or get you to see why you say that? Do you know why you say that?
Well, my assumption is because that's what he told me.
Who tells you?
My father used to tell me that all the time, that I was a nothing and a nobody.
Yeah, exactly. And also because no matter what you did, it never matched up. So you programmed to go, no matter what I do, it will never be enough.
Yeah,
And that's what you need to start saying to yourself. This is enough. This is great. And you've got to start looking at that language. And the other thing is you're going to need to say, I choose to feel safe. I choose to surrender. I mean, I can see that you're very, your energy is amazing considering, um, but busting through a little, just watching that self-talk because it's limiting you. But anyway, we'll see. I know you're a healer now, but it's you still, we've got to get you bigger, and
yeah,
I'll bring back your fragments. But that's what they're the programs.
yeah.
Make sure it's always safe. Otherwise, you don't do it. You don't want to be vulnerable, and so you need to be saying, "I choose to be safe, and I choose to let go." And of course, I can do this. And look how amazing I am, and just swap around that talk.
So now I am, like, I'm certified as medical intuitive, and I read past lives. Um,
Oh, great.
yeah, I mean, I can channel people's passed on loved ones, and I feel really confident, more confident than I ever
Good.
have in my life.
Great. Beautiful. That's so great. Yeah, and that's great. Just and you answered it very well. Why you've said that was because of what your dad said. So it's good to be able to bring that into the equation. So that means that you'd be bringing that in with your clients, which is great. Um, but do you think you're living your full potential?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, you can just watch the video, but some of these aspects I just said have been big for you that keep you smaller than you should be. Because yes, you've gone and pushed through, obviously pushed through, but there's always another layer to push through, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Always another layer. Okay, now you're interesting because I go to do the healing, and it's your energy is accessible, but it's like I go to do it, but I'm not. You're either it's either so hidden I can't get in, or you've healed it. But I'm trying to like work you out because I go, okay, let's do this healing, but then I'm going, I'm not going to go anywhere. It's going to be like nothing. It's going to just and to bring back the fragments. So there's either two things. It's either really blocked and hidden and tucked away, or you've
Yeah,
healed it.
no, it's definitely hidden because I could feel it. I could feel
Right.
it like
Okay.
really deep within me.
Yeah. So yes, and you see, for me to get in was exactly, I find, no matter what I say, even if it doesn't make sense in the way I just said, well, you need to trust and surrender, and I mean, and of course you've done the journey and you're confident, but I think that's probably it. Your body is going, oh, don't go there. It's done everything to never go there because it's been so
Mm.
horrific. And you've developed a really good, what you've done is sort of compartmentalized everything. You sort of, and people can do that. They tuck that away, yet they can function okay in the other areas. They become gifted, I guess, in that way. But that door sounds like, well, so I'm going to ask you, how much work have you done then on the abuse and really gone there and really felt it, you know, and or the sexual abuse? How much crying, how much depth have you gone? I've got to plug my phone in.
I definitely have gone deep. I mean, again, the sexual abuse, I don't remember. 'Cause, I mean, I've heard it was three to 5 years old, which I don't have memories of that age.
Yeah.
Even good
Yeah.
memories, I don't have.
Yeah. And that's kind of normal to not remember. That's like, you
Yeah,
know, when you've got pockets when you don't remember.
I remember all the physical abuse,
Yeah.
um, and I have worked on that diligently.
Yeah.
I was also molested by a boy when I was 9, and
Right.
I even suppressed that until I was in my 20s, and it came out. It came out actually in a dream, and I was
Really?
cursing in this dream, um, and uh, I was on vacation with my boyfriend at the time, and his parents were like, "What is wrong with her?" And then the next day, he was like, "What happened?" And I said, "I was molested when I was a little girl," and so it came out in the dream. So, and I was able to deal with that. Um,
Hmm. Yes, because when I'm going in, I can't, it's like I'm not going anywhere.
all right, can I tell you that? So, I started doing entity work about a year ago.
Which work? Entity.
Yeah, entity and discarnates, like
Right.
getting rid of them. And I see a lot of times this dark being, almost like at the gate of my soul, like saying, "No one's getting in. I have her."
Yeah, that's more like it.
I don't know if
That's more
I
like
hired him, like if I have a soul contract with him to keep me like this. Um,
Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah, it's like, yeah, the door's shut. Like I'm trying
yeah,
to hop in the door and the door's shut. But when you talk about that energy or something, then that feels right. So I'm gonna have to get my soul module. Hang on.
okay.
Yeah, that's it. Something to like, don't ever go there. And sometimes in all of our despair, we can say and agree to things, you know,
Yeah,
that we don't, we just, that's just what it's meant to do. It's meant to tie us up so we don't ever get our spiritual growth. We get blocked. All right, let me just find a, oh, what word did I have for you? Did I get a word that was,
vulnerable,
what is it?
vulnerable.
Fun, yes, and then I got a why. There was another word. There's three, there should have been three things. The pattern, the age, and then the reason.
It was. I read it. It was about not trusting.
About which?
About not trusting. Let me try to
Yeah,
find.
no, no, not the pattern. There was a
Oh
why, another word on the why. So you don't know what it was?
no, I will. I could find it really
Right.
quick.
Let me just, let's have a look here. 1 to 20 to 30, 31 to 233. Okay, so I'll double check. Soul holograph, soul imprisonment. Soul imprisonment, so it's given you soul imprisonment. So tell me your journey. What has it felt like for you to heal? What would you say? Describe that journey. Give me like say it was like I was doing whatever. Just give me a um, something to parallel with it, something to compare it with. What does it felt like for you to get out of your childhood, get out of what was done to you?
Um, well, it actually feels like I am resisting. It feels
You're
like I'm,
resisting.
yeah, like I'm too afraid to heal. I'm too afraid to be strong, to be powerful. Almost
Yes.
like I'll die
Yeah.
if I'm powerful.
Yeah. 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 You probably died in a past life because of your power. You probably tortured and burnt at the stake and all that kind of stuff.
I've been
And so
told that,
you've
yeah.
yeah. So you've made a vow and a contract. You've kind of bound your soul up because the torture's so bad. You just say to yourself, "I'll never do this again. I'm never showing who I am."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that. What sounds right because I can't get in. The door's shut.
All right.
It's like
So for some reason I'm feeling, I actually was feeling such anxiety. So I don't know if that has
yeah.
anything to
So
do
that's
with it.
telling me. It's just telling you that I'm getting there. Like I'm starting to give you why I'm getting
Yeah.
close to the door. Like I come up closer, and all the anxiety and all of that is telling you I'm right as well. It's telling you that yes, we're on the right track.
Okay. So, yeah, so I try to take a couple of steps forward and I literally am the one who brings myself back. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so it feels like identity, like I don't see myself.
Yeah.
Well, the younger part of me, because like
Yeah.
as a mother, I am a powerful mother. I am confident.
Yeah.
I'm an artist, and in that,
Yeah.
I am confident and strong in that. Now, it's the healing thing. It just makes me terrified.
Well, yeah,
Um,
and that's what, yeah, exactly. And that would say that you've been really tortured in a past life, and that's coded right through your DNA. And your father continued the torturing, and and I can't get in, and because there's work, there's got to be that terrified. You have to keep stepping past it and doing the work of I choose to trust, I choose to surrender. It's this superseding the fears that have just been in your DNA. Before I can't because I can't get in right now, and I'm thinking, yeah, because you've shut it off, and you have to work on that being terrified. So tell me what work you've done on feeling terrified of showing who you are.
um, I'm. What do you mean? What work have I done?
What yeah, so what work, like you're saying you're terrified of revealing who you really are. How much work have you done on overcoming the fear on that?
Uh, I feel like I've done a ton of work. Um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it's sort of yeah, go on.
no, you go.
No, you go.
So, I mean, like years ago, back then, like I couldn't leave my house. Like I couldn't leave my house, which is something. Oh my gosh. All right. So there's this thing. I don't know why it didn't come up before, but all right. So there's this issue that was preventing me from leaving the house. So I know this may sound ridiculous, but when I was in third grade, um, I did really bad in social studies. Well, I thought I failed, but I got a C. And my father wanted me to get A's, and he expected me to be like my older sister who got straight A pluses in everything, not knowing that she was an overachiever. So I became an underachiever to stay safe, to stay out of the limelight. But I had this thing where I would actually make myself sick and not be able to go to school to take a test if I didn't know everything that was going to be presented. So further on in my life, when I was in my 20s, when the panic attacks started, I got a job in something that I lied about. I needed a job, and I said that I could do it. And then I was going to get the job, and I realized how big it was. And so that's how everything felt when I was little. Everything felt too big for me. It was really adult stuff that my father wanted us to do. And again, I started having panic attacks and I couldn't leave my house. But after a certain amount of time, like I got myself out of that situation. I'm never going to do that. I went to something small. And so when I started doing this job, it felt literally like the same thing, like these expectations. Okay, so for some reason, I was just able to take a decent breath, just even getting that part of it out. So, so that is a lot of the work that I've been doing too. Like, because I would be terrified. You know, when you do this work, you're not going to know what someone's going to need or even what their problem is going to be until they start telling you. But if you're an accountant, you know you're going to be doing 1 + 1 = 2 for the rest of your life. So what happened was, this is like the thing. It was the suspense of not knowing if I could handle what a client was going to tell me.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it was keeping me in this thing of literally the same thing with my father, the suspense, because it was more, I had a more of a fear of the suspense of what was going to happen than what
Yeah.
actually did happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing is the fear really comes from, well, yeah, it comes from your dad, but it's also the fear of what was going to happen to you when you're home. You never knew when he was going to go off, because one day he's nice and he's Dr. He's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. One day he's
Exactly.
nice, so it's always so you don't know who to
Yeah.
expect. So you've got a lot of insecurity, vulnerability. What am I going to get? I'm in panic mode because I don't know. Is today I'm going to get beaten, or I'm going to get the nice guy, or the guy that doesn't
Right.
hit me. So that's kind of what's running through your body, and that's probably why you've shut the door in on yourself, because you got to keep yourself, to protect yourself. You got to shut that down, and I mean, anyway. So look, I can't get in right now. I can't, and we've talked for quite some time, and I can't get in, because I know you've done a lot of work. I can't. I mean, if you could come to live training, because this is my last Los Angeles workshop, is a small one. Uh, that would We would get in because it's a very small group.
Mm-hmm.
That's an opportunity for you because it's in November. It's in 4 weeks. Because at this moment there's so much that your body, it's not like, oh, just let your guard down. For you, I can't just say just let your guard down. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? you're
Yeah.
you're like been doing this your whole entire life, and probably past lifetimes, and I can't do it right now, and even talking with you. But the good thing is, if you want to, and you need to change your language with all this fear, and be saying, I choose to feel safe, I choose to let go, I choose to um, allow, there's a few things, because it's I choose to trust that it's all fine. It's because that's what keeps you blocked, is you don't know what client you're going to get, you don't know. It's more like, well, I don't know what my dad's going to do to me,
Yeah.
all of that, and that is the program, and that has to be undone. So it's when you go, I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to trust there's always going to be good, and you got to say, when you get the fear coming up, I want to trust it'll all work. And so start, that will be a start for you,
Yeah.
by overriding that affirmation. And oh yes, so okay, so I understand it, because I used to say a concrete, meter thick wall in front of me. I didn't know what to do. It was like I'm trying to feel, but I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to get this concrete, block down. And it was the work I did. It was just continual work, and then all of a sudden, for me, it popped. It just went bang. It all came down at the right time, the right place, and it was all manifested. It was in a workshop.
Yeah.
It went like this. Uh, I had a lot of pain. Mine was physical pain. So I'm in the workshop and I knew something was going to come up because the signs would always show me with my dad. I would have a fight with someone. They would remind me of my dad, in some way. And I did. I had this altercation with this girl on the phone. She was German and she was really, I didn't like her at all, but she was really so like my dad. And I hung up on the phone from her. And she called back, but I didn't pick the phone up. She goes, "Oh, I don't know what happened there. God, I just don't." It was like this, surreal kind of thing. And she goes, "I forgive you." And I'm thinking, well, whatever, whatever. Okay. And then I go, "Oops, I know this sign. Something's going to be showing up at the workshop I'm doing. Something about my dad." So I'm doing the workshop. We got to the last day. I think it was probably a 4-day workshop or 3. I don't know. 6 day, I don't even know how many days, 4 or 6. And the last day I go, well, got through that one. We're at lunchtime, we come back, got through that one, nothing happened. Then I said to myself, you know what, universe, I'm just going to work with whoever shows up. Whoever asks me, I'm not going to ask anybody. They're going to ask me, and they're the person I work with. And so I got back and my body started to go into anxiety, but I didn't realize it was going into anxiety because I'm about to free myself from the trauma and abuse. And so, okay, yeah, so what happened was, so anyway, I ended up working with this. So no one asked me. They got back from lunch and they didn't ask me. And I'm like desperate. I didn't realize desperate, but I was desperate. And then I went against my rule. And I said, Nadia, will you work with me? Now, Nadia, I didn't like at all. Nadia was kind of she was like my dad, really, all about her. But I asked her and she goes, okay, but you know what? I'm going to do a healing on my friend. She's just fallen off her bike. And so you can do that and then we'll work. And I go, okay, I'll do a healing for your friend. No worries. So do this distant healing for a friend, and I made sure I put lots of energy into it because somehow I'm thinking, oh gosh, I need a really good healing back. I didn't realize I was thinking that. We did the healing. She goes off in the kitchen. She comes out later and she partnered with somebody else, and I'm looking around looking for her, and she's working with someone else, and I'm like, so I'm about to lose it. I'm about to pop, and I said to her, thanks, Nadia. And then I thought, will I say something? I go, yeah, I'm going to say something. Just use and abuse me. And so I went up in the bathroom. And then someone goes, oh, I think a child needs a healing. So I went into the bathroom, bawled my eyes out. I'm on the floor. I heard someone go to the toilet, and I go, I've got to get out of here because they're going to wash their hands. And I get up, I'm a mess. The instructor, who I knew quite well, she says to me, she goes, what's wrong with you? My God. And I go, I think it's the inner child. She goes, well, have you had it done? I go, no. She goes, don't worry. I will do you after the class. So my whole body just went, relax. And I just went back to normal. So I'm just back to normal, finished the day. Then I thought, she goes, okay, so what room do you want to go in? I go, I made a mistake. I'm fine, but just, Anyway, went in the room, 2 hours healing. I'm bawling, I'm releasing. And that's where I connected my whole self. But that was the biggest, it was like a bomb hit me. It was like it was like everything. An energy rushing, and I connected. So that was kind of my story of the moment I connected, but I've been wanting it and wanting it and wanting it. And it was the inner child healing. And so that was kind of, it did come. And then that was, let's have a look. So how many years ago? That's probably 20 years ago. Was it 20 years ago? 15 years ago, I connected. I don't even know. But so I understand the wanting the wall down. I understand you've got this. So I've just, so Robin's saying, seeing a pic of a black box 6 by 6 inches behind her uterus without a door. You have to smash it open. Just what I'm seeing could be BS. BS. Okay, so, well, the box, there is something that's kind of blocking. Anyway, there's something for you to ponder because I can't, whatever I do now isn't going to do anything. I'm trying to go there, and it's just it'll be a non-event, not your fault. And that is your fear of the pain that's happened to you from past lives and this lifetime.
Okay.
And that's what they do. They make sure that you never access your power. They will target you. So you got to be aware of it. You see the affirmation, start to say, you know what, I'm just going to trust and surrender. I'm going to let go. And I don't know if you like to control in the way of feel safe all the time, you know, just play safe and go, okay, I'll just do this because that's safe. Do you do any of that?
I'm getting out of that. I mean, I'm doing things that I never thought I would do and taking classes I never thought
Okay.
so, and I'm
Okay.
doing great at them. And
Yeah.
uh, yeah,
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, it's great at all that. So that's an out, but it's not great at looking at that real pain and what's really behind that. That's what's got to be the focus.
yeah. And yeah, I mean, okay, so this is my fear. My fear is that like I think I'm afraid I'll have a breakdown if I remember what
Yeah,
happened.
yeah, yeah. Okay, so there you go. So that's what's yeah that. So you go. You know what? The universe does it. Uh, well, I know in Forensic Healing, we go. It's all done safely. We have this safeguard on it, so no one will. You might lose it in that moment, but you get back. It's all done with a lot of safeguards on it, and I try. And so therefore, my belief system is it's all. No one will ever have it. No one's ever lost it, ever had a breakdown. So that's my belief system, and that's what I see. And I've got all the safeguards. And you've got a safeguard, sort of on. Let's have a look. Let's see. Begin the day. Well, that's not. Well, that's kind of a beginning of the day. It's not quite got the safeguards on that. But you can just decide that say I trust you, universe, that I'll be fine. I'm going to trust you, and stop running the show.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
until you do that, until you change that whole belief system and work at that, you're going to create, and got the thumbs up from Robin, you are going to make sure that no one gets in there for
yeah,
fear of having that breakdown. And
right.
the and universe has always helped you up to this point. So you've got to let it go. You've got to go. I trust that it'll be done safely, and you'll protect me, universe. You've always protected me in the way that my healing has occurred, and have way more trust.
Yeah,
And although you're going outwardly showing that you can do things, it's this inside stuff that's where the energy has to go. And that's great. You are stepping out of your, that's really great, but you're missing that, looking at exactly what you fear, working, put the energy on that.
yeah,
Because you've only got so much energy, and you barely, and here I'm giving you some information that can change your life, and you didn't have any time to come on any of the other videos, because you're obviously busy doing stuff, and you almost missed this.
yeah. I could not miss this. That's I just I could not miss talking to you. I had to talk to you.
But you did miss it though. But all I'm saying is you
Oh, oh,
are missing. I'm just telling you, I didn't have to do this one. I gave 5. I gave everyone plenty of
oh,
notice when all the
right,
other
right.
5s were coming up. And I put this one in and you said, oh, well, can I have a healing? I go, okay. But I'm thinking, like, if you looked at EPEC or you watched any of the others, she gets up at 3 in the morning, and she made 2 of them. She would have made all of them if I let her. She'll get up at any time, and she's done my 7-day. She's committed to this transformation. And you could have not spoken to me, because I didn't. This isn't supposed to be healing. I didn't even
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
do this one. But I'm just telling you that you are sabotaging yourself.
Oh, completely. That I know. That I take responsibility for and acknowledge.
Yeah, and so what? And I thought, and I knew I was going to have this conversation about this with you. I've got some little hearts, and I'm just a straight shooter. But I need to leave you with the information that, yeah, and there you do sabotage yourself. You don't want to really know. You sort of want to know, but not enough.
You're right. I know that. I feel that.
Yeah. I know, yeah. So it's about like, and you say I'll go off and do everything else, but it's not about dancing or whatever, which is it's great, but it's all about looking at these fears and looking at your sabotages because you should have been on one of those other five that were officially done because this didn't have to happen. The universe obviously cares for you because and then almost you couldn't even get on. So it's almost
I
it's
know.
just this not being prepared, not ready to really invest in your time. Uh, so anyway, there's some little uh, things to look at because otherwise you'll do another 10 years of because you're so blocked in that way. It's like considering you've done all that work, you don't look at it was too. You're not telling the universe that you're going to trust it, and you're ready to trust it.
Yeah.
What do you think about what I said?
I mean, you're right on everything. And I did not even see some of the things that you have said, which are as valuable to me as a healing would be. I
Thank
don't
you.
always, you
Thank
know,
you.
the healings are excellent, but for me right now, this information is exactly what I needed, and your insights are exactly what I needed. Um, and again, this was invaluable to me, and I am
Thank you.
extremely grateful.
Thank you.
And I am
Yeah.
even grateful that you're not pushing me. Like, let's just even try to get a healing in there or whatever. And
Yeah.
like, you're really just being completely straight with me. And I respect so much that you're acknowledging that part of me, which I don't acknowledge that part of me, but you're acknowledging that part of me and saying, no, we just have to let it be until it's ready to
Yeah.
open up. I mean, you're just so wonderful, and I just love you.
Ah, bless
I
you.
love your energy. It's beautiful, and you're beautiful. And I have watched your, like you in the kitchen cooking, and the
All right.
the chickpea pasta. I was like, oh my God, I gotta get that. But I have really learned a lot stuff
Yeah.
that so this has been
Yeah. Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, and that you saw that the information that I gave you was really going to, what all you need to do is start focusing on what your beliefs are and what you've been saying to yourself, and then will start to crumble. Thank
Yeah,
you, because yeah, exactly, because I am a straight shooter, and I can't, because I'll say to someone, it'd be no pointless me doing anything until you address that, because some people can go their whole life of healing, but I'll go, unless that part's addressed, you're just not going to get there. So I need to tell you that. So I'm grateful that you see it. The universe, and I don't know, did I tell you, but you have, I think I was saying it, or did say it, or was about to, but you have everything else all, ticked off. The beautiful karma, the beautiful energy, the work, you've moved past, you've worked hard, Dark Night of Soul. I'm sure plenty times you've gone through Dark Night of Soul. So now you just need to now go, okay, I'm going to focus on seeing me, showing who I am, showing my full identity, and start saying something different, and start saying I'm going to trust the universe that it's got me protected, and I'm going to let it go, because for you, that's probably where you think you're going to go into a panic attack, but you're going to push through it.
thank you.
Oh, all right. Well, the wind just blew up over here and just blew, and it's about to blow it away.
I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so, so much. I feel so
Okay.
honored to even talk to you. So
Ah, you're
thank you for taking
adorable.
the time.